Pew, pew, pew. Fixing the lighting, fixing the shadows.
Shadows?
Natural light here, artificial light here. I mean, it's really light. I don't know why it's artificial light. It's light.
Everything's
Is everything natural or is everything artificial?
everything's real, man. Like when somebody's like, our food has all
What?
natural ingredients, I'm like, well, don't chemicals come from
Isn't
the earth?
isn't
Like,
everything
yeah,
from everything?
yeah.
Nothing if nothing was brought here by magic, then everything is natural.
Mm-hmm. Like even things made in a lab, they're made with something that was made from the
Correct.
earth.
We're acting like we made up elements. Well, kind of, but not really. It came from something.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't know we were gonna go science really
Wow,
hardcore.
we didn't even we didn't even hit the theme song.
That was the
It's just
extent. That's the extent of my
that
science knowledge. That conversation that I've had in my head for years.
right.
Isn't
Yeah.
everything real?
Just,
Yeah,
that was a 5,000 word essay.
yeah. This is getting too hot. Let's get into it.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. Age of convenience. My daddy worked hard for this.
Realize,
What?
well, we do have I have two. I have a couple windows here, so I got that natural light coming in.
Yeah, that's good. That's not the normal look for your room.
I know.
It looks brighter in there. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me? Matt. Well, folks, welcome to what may be our last episode of Strangely Familiar. My name is Jeff. That was Matt for some time. I don't know if he's going to still be with us and if he's going to jump back into the studio. But as of right now, he is texting me. Computer froze and restarted. So I'm just going to let him know that we're going to just keep talking. So he's off and it says it's just me. So yeah. Let's see what we got on docket today. Hope everyone has enjoyed their last week. For me, I just was a good person and completed my civic duty by having jury duty this week. So that was pretty interesting, we'll say. Yeah, so I got to go down to the Camden County Courthouse, we'll say. I don't know what its official name is. In Jersey, they name things slightly differently. Most of you are used to the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. Well, in New Jersey, it's the MVC, the Motor Vehicle Commission. Oh, hey,
Well, is
look.
it still recording the whole time?
Yeah. So Matt's back with us. He's moving. He's conscious. And good news for you. I don't remember already what we were talking about before you dropped.
I wonder if they recorded your whole time.
We'll see.
What's exciting
like it
is
was.
usually the first activity I do on my computer every day, it just freezes up and shuts it down. So I'm probably in the market for a new computer.
Oh, weird.
That's
the
super
first
fun.
activity you do in the day freezes up your computer, gets it all virusy and stuff.
Mhm.
That's weird.
It's just like in my regular life.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as I was saying, my first activity today was to take a shower.
Right.
Yeah, I got that nice,
It doesn't
nice
show.
red face.
It just looks really white. You look
okay, good.
You look your standard horribly pale self.
Hey, it got to 80 degrees here this week, and then it dropped again. But still, I'm ready. I'm ready to spend 30 days in a row in the sun and get a base tan. That's my vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I know I used to use this. Here's a deep dive about my facial regimen. I used to use this very abrasive facial cleanser. and now I've chilled it off to be more of a lotion-based thing. So there you
Okay.
go. There you go. 40-year-old
Wow,
guys need some
that's a deep
recommendations.
dive. That is a
Recommendations.
deep dive. I used to use rough stuff, and now I don't.
I'm more of a CeraVe guy, you know.
Yeah, you don't have the Patrick Bateman routine at the beginning of American Psycho.
Peel the
Yeah, one of the best openings to a movie, because if you don't know what that movie's going to be, I remember when I first saw it, and my buddy's like, "Yo, you got to see this movie. It's so weird." And he's like, "It's kind of like a horror drama, whatever," but he's like, "It's really funny." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." And that's all it starts with, is Patrick Bateman dictating his starting routine. I'm like, I don't know what I'm seeing right now, which is on par, like, I mean, what a great film, but that movie, that's quality. It's a genre bending film.
It's an otherworldly confidence too when he's with those two prostitutes making love, but he's just looking at himself in the mirror and flexing.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. So I'm like,
yep.
Here's...
While Susudio is playing,
God,
I mean, Phil Collins had to have been like, I hit the jackpot with being featured in a movie to have Susudio playing during that scene.
Here's another deep dive that will be very shallow.
Wow.
But TMI is that one time a girlfriend and I, in that vein, did film ourselves having sex. Then we watched it. It was the worst. We deleted it right away. It was the worst thing ever. Like, if you're a regular person, never do that.
No.
Never do that. It's like, it's so disgusting.
That's awesome that it was so awkward and shameful that you're like, why did I do this?
Yeah,
why would I ever do this?
Really, this will be fun. I think it was like, yeah, one of those things you get like one of those little card games or something, or, you know, spice it up, or like, send each other little notes, and it was like, film each other. And we were like, it was also in like, I'm like an actual camera, little digital camera that had a video function, but video cameras weren't up to, they weren't even phone quality yet. Right. But it was like, we started watching it.
You're using digital zoom and being like, all right, well, now, is that me or you?
It was just gross bodies. We might even set it up as a third party, but it's like, this is bad. This is like, we are not professional. Like, kudos to the people that are.
You tried it on for size, you know. It's just like, you know, trying a meal that you're hesitant about. You're like, listen, I'm not gonna say this is gonna be something I cook myself on the regular, but I'm gonna try this meal. And you try it and you go, you know what? Not for me.
Yeah, this meal is too white and sweaty.
You know what? When I see videos of people preparing this meal, it's a lot different.
Yeah, it doesn't breathe as heavy.
Yeah, this doesn't look the same as the cookbook shows.
Yeah. So
it's like getting it's like watching fast food places advertise their burgers, and then you go and order one and you're like, well, that's not the same.
But now I wonder, like, if I wanted to start an OnlyFans, there's got to be somebody for me.
Sure.
Somebody's got to be what I'm into or what I am. Like, now, very white, a belly.
Now remember the original concept of OnlyFans.
It's a patron
is just that it's subscription video.
Yeah,
it is not pornographic. This is not about sexuality. That is a minor offshoot. They insist that OnlyFans can be used for any type of video subscription.
Sure,
any kind.
Well, we know the porn industry has basically created all of our media in the last 20 to 30 years, whether it was DVD, Blu-ray, wherever the porn is gone, that's where the media
VHS started with VHS. Isn't that what killed Betamax?
Probably, yeah. But I think if you're, hey, let me know, StangeFam, if you're into a hairy belly, you know, I would say my best feature is probably like my toes are pretty like symmetrical, like well-shaped toes and feet.
I'm envious of that. I have horrible, like, curved hammer toes. Okay. They hurt when I run. Sometimes they like tuck under, and like, dude, yeah, my toes are a nightmare. So good for you, man. I would roll with. That's a great start, because, you know, like, those are the real winners in life, is the people, mostly women, obviously, that can capitalize on stuff like OnlyFans by just doing stuff with their feet and not even needing to be naked. Like, good for you. Good for you. Keep doing it. You keep on keeping on. Like, how did you pull that off?
Somebody's into it. Like,
yeah, man.
We had a very serious conversation probably 7 or 8 years ago, friends in Texas.
Okay.
So they were going to release .xxx as a domain. like, your .coms, .org,
Oh, okay.
.xxx was going to come out. So we're like,
Good.
we got to come up with one just so we can sell it, or we can just make one. So you're like, what do people want? What's somebody not going to jump on that'll sell? We have some of our friends who are women. Like, would you take pictures of your feet for money? But they didn't know who you were. They're like, yeah. They're like, okay, here's our concept. Feet and fruit jelly .xxx. It would just be feet, but feet mashing jelly and fruits, and then we would sell that. And there has to be a market for it. We never really fully did the research, but we had people willing to do it, and I bet we could have made $100 on it. And now that's one of my biggest regrets. Like, we could have done that. I want to look it up
we
now.
could have made $100
Probably,
off of it.
at least, I think. I think so.
The biggest business venture I regret is the one where I swear I could have made $100.
At least $100.
Well, okay, 100 or greater than 100. Okay, greater than or equal to 100.
Yeah, if you want, maybe, hey, here's a challenge, Strange Fam. If we get 10 likes or more on the next YouTube video, I will take a picture of my feet in jelly.
Wow.
And you can have it.
The
for
bar
free.
is set. All it takes
free.
is 10 people. So if there's even 10 people that listen to this episode on YouTube, just go, or on Spotify or Apple, just go on YouTube and do it, because I want this for him.
I want this.
He wants that to happen. You don't set the bar at 10 and go, boy, I sure hope they don't reach it. Like you're like in Twitter, if this was a Twitter account by a famous person, they'd be like, if I get 100,000 reposts, that's like, I swear, guys, if I get something like 10 likes, I'll do it.
Well, I'm a little concerned because nobody has replied about the poo confessionals yet.
So there's been no BMs in our DMs.
Nobody wants to share their shameful poo stories. Yeah, in our DMs. It's really weird.
I don't get you people.
Yeah, but maybe they want feet pics. We're about to narrow down our demographic.
Acting like every time you've made it to the toilet, every single time, not a care in the world. I plan accordingly. I eat lots of fiber. Everything's always coming up Millhouse. Well, aren't you special?
Yep. Also this morning's first time doing a pod with no caffeine in my blood. Okay. Whether it's day, morning, night, I'm trying to wean myself off. Have you ever experienced that? For number one, what's your caffeine regimen? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's mostly my cup of coffee in the morning. And when I say cup, I mean a Tervis, like 20 to 24 ounces. Mm-hmm. I don't really do soda anymore. It's very few and far between. Trying to think caffeines. Now I do have, if I'm like at the grocery store or a gas station or something like that, and I need to pick me up in like the afternoon, I do enjoy treating myself to like an energy drink, like a sugar-free Monster or those C4.
That sounds enjoyable.
Yes. Oh, C4 has a pink Starburst flavor energy drink.
Really?
And it's exactly like pink Starburst.
That is
and it might be the greatest drink ever. But I don't buy them to put in the house. It's like I'll get one if I'm out and about, but I won't buy like cases and stuff because I know if I bring it home, I'll just plow through it.
Yeah.
So
because you're also a regular gym guy. You don't do like the pre-workouts. I mean, C4 is kind of a pre-workout, isn't it? But do you do any caffeine before? Do you any caffeine before?
I just thought my heart was supposed to palpitate like that. No, I mean, I'd like to get more into working out. I just don't understand how to like build a workout regimen. I hate it. And that's what is terrifying to me. I hate not knowing what to do, and the internet's filled with too many suggestions. So like, I wish someone would just build a workout regimen for me, but also like with videos on showing me what the hell, because they'll be like, all right, use the blah, blah, blah machine. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So anyway, I run more than anything.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Running on caffeine, it doesn't really help run. I don't know about working out like that type of like muscle intensity, but it doesn't really help with running. Running can actually wake you up. It's tough for the first mile, but when you're done with it, you kind of feel a little bit more awake. So, but I've weaned myself off of caffeine. When my anxiety was really bad, at my previous job about 3 years ago. I weaned myself off caffeine because I knew it was crushing me with my anxiety and stuff like that. Like it was really amplifying my anxiety at that time when I was going through harder stuff. So I switched to decaf for a solid, 6 to 9 months, and took myself off of that and then jumped back onto the caffeine wagon. But I don't
Yeah,
think I have
that's kind of where I
withdrawals.
am. Like it's the anxiety. So I found like I've been having a lot of trouble sleeping.
Mm.
So like, plus I work late. I mean, wouldn't usually have caffeine that late. I'd usually like have it in me by 6 o'clock, and but still like I wake up again at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's when like you're half tired, so like anxiety can really start then because
Oh yeah.
you're like not really thinking clearly, and then you're like I'm wildly unhealthy. Oh shit, now I'm thinking about this stuff. So like Thursday, I haven't had, so I'm doing no booze right now too, and weaning off caffeine. So I think Thursday I had like half of what I normally do in terms of I always have these, they're like called yerba mate, but it's functionally like 160 to 200 milligram can of caffeine, and I might have had like 2 of those a day. So basically the equivalent of like 6 cups of coffee maybe or something like that
Okay.
a day. So I had half one of those, and yesterday I had like a sip, and today I haven't had any yet. So I'm gonna try to go, and we'll see. We'll see what kind of headaches I'm gonna be
I
having.
was see now. I've never had those. I've never had the like
Yeah.
caffeine withdrawal headaches, which I know are pretty prominent for a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that the last couple nights I've slept better because it was a combination of like every night coming home and having some drinks, but then having caffeine in me, and then what happens is like if you wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, then like you're sort of like the booze is processing too, so then you feel equally worse, and then that already doesn't help you sleep well. So I'm like, my mission now is to like get proper sleep and to lower anxiety. So I'm giving it I'm
Sure,
giving it the real 40-year-old man try. I'm like,
sure.
it's the thing you don't understand yet because you're not even 40 yet, but
Mm-mm.
when you turn 40 you really grow up, man. It's like
Yeah,
really put things into
not
perspective.
me, man. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
young forever.
Yeah, I got a shipment of preparation H coming, just got a whole cargo ship worth. Like I'm ready for this.
Know who jumps the gun on aging?
What
AARP.
what do you
I
mean,
get
did you
emails,
you do
and
already?
mailers. Join AARP. I'm like, relax. You
What is it,
need to
60?
relax.
Is that 60
I
for
thought so.
AARP?
55 maybe, I think.
Okay,
But
just
I'm
letting you
like,
know they're out there.
yeah, right. Putting out their feelers.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean it's kind of rude. It's kind of rude. Let me live my life, AARP. I know where you are if I need to find you, and I'll need that Denny's discount at some point in my life. But
I'm also doing this because it's like I know I want to do like I want to go to the doctor, something responsible, but I don't want to go in like really raw. Like I want to go in
right, you,
oh, you
well,
only, how many drinks do you have a week? Oh, me, none.
I was just gonna say you want to be able to go in telling the truth,
Yeah,
but you don't go too deep
yeah,
because you want to be like, see, you have a perfect setup for it. You can go if you say, let's say you set something up in May, okay?
mhm,
You can be like, listen, I turned 40. As you can see, I turned 40 at the end of March. Since then, I've really been trying to be better. I've cut back my caffeine to really help reduce my anxiety. And you mention a couple things, and then that way they're gonna go, okay, you know what? You're on a good path. And a lot of doctors
yeah,
will be like, all right, I'm not gonna hammer you
yeah.
with,
Your
hey,
blood work is
moron.
terrible. Your
Yeah, hey
liver's
moron, you're
dying.
beating the living
Yeah,
crap out of yourself. Knock it off. They'll
yeah.
be like, okay, yeah. Like honestly, I am a firm believer that it will 100% change how they'll have that conversation, which means you'll be able to interpret it a lot better. 100%.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I earnestly do want to like be healthier. Like, it just gets to the point. I think it relates to the almost online dating of it, where sometimes it just gets old of like feeling like shit or not being able to sleep, and it's like I can ultimately, if I it's weird like food. This food has like energy in it. I don't know if you knew that, and if you eat like good food, it'll fuel your body.
That doesn't sound
It's
right.
weird, but
That
I
doesn't
gave that.
sound,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't sound like a
Yeah,
thing.
I think I just read that in a
Are you
children's.
sure that's not just another internet thing?
Yeah,
Like a BuzzFeed?
because I'm notorious. People know this around town, but
Wow, you're
I
notorious.
still I barely eat before I go to work sometimes, and it's like an idiot. And then I'm like, oh, I'll just have this caffeine, and it'll get me going. And I guess it does, but it really just gets jitters and anxiety going more than anything.
Right.
So the other day, I was like, I made myself a piece of salmon for lunch. How about it? Huh?
Wow.
I didn't catch it, but it still felt just as good.
Oh no, the Owasco outlet didn't have fresh salmon that flowing that day.
No.
Okay,
I do enjoy their mussels. But yeah, we're going. It's an experiment. For those of you that need to watch the YouTube, check out Jeff flexing his muscles.
Yes.
But I'm giving it a go. We'll see how long it lasts. It's I'll let you. No, I'm not going to put this burden on you, but
okay,
you'll be my call me on my bullshit guy. So next week, I'm like, if I'm all hyped, I'll be like, hey, how much boozing you doing?
What's going on? Hey. Big Matt, I noticed that bottle of vodka in your hand.
Yeah.
And
it's funny because it's like going to the dentist too. Like, how much do you floss? Like every day this week. I swear.
What's the point of asking?
I know.
That's the best part. What's the point of asking?
I bet I floss less than I'm supposed to, but more than most people. That's my guess.
I would say the same.
I actually have it looks like a toothbrush. You put a little dental floss thing on it, and you just go through. And my teeth barely bleed, dude. Barely.
Nice.
Like that's maybe good. Once a month if I miss a few days. So
that's good.
I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, no caffeine, no booze, no fun, right? God, what is this?
Am I right?
I gotta fill my life with activities and hobbies and personal relationships. Ew.
Nerd.
Goals? No. So
yeah, I saw as far as the anxiety thing, I saw it scrolling through the old Facebook. I saw someone that I'm friends with put like, hey, haven't been feeling, and this is not someone I know I don't know them that well. They're an acquaintance, friend of a friend. And they're like, I've been feeling kind of weird lately, been feeling kind of a bit in a funk. But ... I guess I'll just keep grinding. And like so many people like in the comments put, yeah, man, keep the grind on and blah, blah, you'll come out of it. I'm like, man, that's really bad fucking advice. I'm like, and I probably would, and I probably would have said the exact same thing 10 years ago. But it's like, man, that is not like, you can't have people telling you that. Like, that's not the right approach. Keep grinding is not the idea. Think of the term grinding. Like, that's not,
it's
literally counterproductive.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if your knee is grinding, meaning like cartilage is gone, no doctor gonna go back, yo, bro, just keep smashing them bones together. You'll get through it. Dude. What, the cartilage will grow back? No, that's not how it happens. You get help, you get surgery. Like, so it's tough to see that, because I think a lot of people, this society has turned a lot of people into fucking struggling messes. And a lot of times when people ask for help, whether they're doing it subconsciously or not, people are just like, yo, bro, just keep at that grind. And it's like, man, that's really bad advice. So you're not the best only one.
Advice like my dad has, it gives me once in a while, because it's just good to hear it. But it's like, well, yeah, what else are you thinking of doing? Or what do you want to try? It's like, because it's like, it's clear what you're doing now just isn't working, right? When you say that to somebody, like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like, so you need to do something different, whatever it is. It's just like, put it in that perspective of like, if you keep grinding, you're not gonna change.
Right, try something different. Yeah. I don't have the suggestion, but add or subtract something.
Yeah, and it's always personal to somebody, but like, yeah, that person, hey, if you're out there, if you're watching, dude, get a little therapy in your life. Go talk to somebody. Don't get your mental health advice from Facebook.
No. I mean,
unless it's good.
It's not going to be.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be. Yeah. Especially if it's don't do anything different.
Yeah.
If the advice involves don't do anything different,
yeah,
that's not good advice.
Keep eating the world shit, Tommy.
Yeah. Just good news. Yeah, good news. Your anxiety is just kind of like a tunnel. The light's coming soon. You just can't see it right now, but you'll eventually just break out of it.
Push through the pain or die trying.
Right. Am I right?
Yeah.
Because then at the least the bright side is you die. Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's just kind of the end of it. But yeah, so
Reminds me of
yeah,
like
man.
it's just kind of, it's like no fear shirt wisdom, you know. Remember those? No,
No
I
fear
just feel I'm
shirt
gonna look some
wisdom.
up right now. Remember
Oh
those? That was
man,
such a big
dude.
deal. So I
Because
remember,
some were like sports specific.
yeah.
Oh,
So when we were, I don't know if you're not familiar, most of everybody watching us is our age group anyway. But like at Spencer's or like one of those, it had these no fear shirts, and they'd have these the cheesiest slogans. They were like, they'd have like full sentences on a shirt, like
right.
like word from top all the way to bottom.
If you
Uh,
can't win, don't play.
yeah. All men are great in their dreams. Reality just narrows the competition. These things oh god,
There are some of them are so no scares, no
dude!
worries, no
Remember,
regrets, no apprehension, no fear.
I'm pretty sure I had a hockey one. 30 seconds left. Face off. In their
Yes,
zone.
I'm literally looking
The
at it right now.
game. The game. Tie game. Pull the goalie. No fear. Like
Oh
really
my
weirdly
lord.
specific sports moments. Yeah. Like 2 seconds left in the game. Team down by 2. You're the field goal kicker from the 50-yard line, except you've never been to practice. And you're
Right.
kicking with your left foot and you're on one crutch.
Yeah, the wind is
the
due
girl you have a crush
southwest
on.
7 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
And
Okay,
you have
all
a
right,
little
hold on.
shart in your pants and you're wondering if somebody can see it through your football
Right.
pants and you're really concerned about it.
But then it should end with ...
No
dot
fear.
home run. What the hell? Like it.
And there was an
Oh, man.
offshoot of it, of that vibe, the big dog shirts. Like
Oh
if
yeah.
if you can't play with the big dogs, stay on the porch.
A little bit more hip hop.
Yeah,
A little bit more hip hop flair,
Yeah.
and I feel like usually for larger people.
Yeah. Oh, here's
I
one.
feel like Big Dog
It was-
started
yeah,
at
'cause
XL.
It was always like a picture of a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, like a big dog, Matt. That would be
Might as well here.
large
Might as well.
dog.
We'll do a quick
Okay.
share. I mean, no fear shirts, people. I think no. Here's some of this big dog.
Wow.
Garth Barks.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
if you can't run with a big dog, stay on the porch.
Oh
Oh my god.
Just
See,
stop
what's
it.
I just farted. What is that one?
I don't think that's Big Dogs, is
Is
it?
it? It's just a big dog. I just farted. You should run now. What does that have to do? That's not intimidating. But yeah, that was dude, Spencer's Gifts. Remember Spencer's Gifts?
Yeah, they're still
There's
kicking.
some,
I
I guess
think.
they don't really have any functional malls. But that's where you get your blacklight posters or band posters. That was actually, I do miss. I mean, I don't get into. I mean, there's a lot of like the old days this, the old days that, and I'm like, I'm pretty comfortable with new technology and the abilities we have and capabilities and a lot of what's developed from it. But there are still simple things I miss. Like I'm okay with Spotify and music on my phone and putting out my TV or my speakers or my car. I love that and having every song available. So I don't necessarily miss CDs and cassettes per se. But like we'll say like flipping posters though, I don't do anymore, and that was really fun. I mean, I also
Flipping
used to like
posters was a
really
jam.
like accrue. I mean, you remember my bed? I had posters on my ceiling and shit like that, like hockey, Metallica, like
Yeah,
other
and
bands, like Pennants.
Well, yeah, you had your non-music based posters that you went to your Spencer's Gifts for, but then every record store also had their music posters in the
Yeah.
back, and I loved seeing the new band posters and stuff. I had multiple Nirvana ones. I had a Bush one.
Oh yeah, that was a cool
I
one.
had,
The Bush one, yeah.
then I upped into my Tapestry game. When it was down with posters, and then I was like, wait, my poster can be a flag. So I had like Ride the Lightning Metallica one. I had the Binge and Purge Metallica guy on a white drawing on a black flag. I think I had Offspring.
Did you have a black flag? Black
Ombre.
flag?
I did not have a black flag. Black flag.
Oh.
I don't actually ever remember seeing a black flag, which is honestly pretty ironic. They're still around, or some rendition of Black Flag is still around. They're one of more of those punk rock institutions I call them institutions, when it's like the band changes lineup so often that like I don't even see them as a band. It's just like a concept of musicians who decide to get together for one album under that label.
Yeah,
So
there's like any wrestling stable. Like you just
yeah, there you go.
it's like I'm just a fan
There
of
you go.
DX. I don't care who's in it. I'm just
Right. Yeah.
just
Do you like the NWO? Well, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
talking about Hogan and the Outsiders, or are we talking about Vincent and
Going
who
Red,
else?
Wolfpack. Are
Everyone
we
got
doing
involved. Oh, that's
yeah.
true. You got your Wolfpack and such.
I just really like their message.
Right.
I'll
I
say.
like the LWO's message.
You know,
Rest in
let's
peace.
get it.
Rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero, Latino
Yeah.
Heat.
Yeah. Just everything to me is just always too sweet, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poster days. That was really fun. Lava lamp lava lamp poster.
Lava lamp days. You know, like
Tapestry.
today.
God. Oh, whoo.
Yep. Hockey posters.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, we're all long gone are those days, right?
Well, I was in when I went to Asheville. So I went to that pinball museum, and then they had a next door like a lunchbox, like video game. I don't know if did I already talk about this on the pod. They had like
No.
these rooms with different video game consoles next to it, lunchbox, and they had like poster rooms too, where you could buy posters, like vintage posters. And
Yeah.
I was like, I had like 12 of these. I sold
Right.
them at a
You're
garage
like,
sale or got rid of them.
I don't want to buy any of these because I had them already.
Or I sold them at a garage sale for like $2. Now they're selling for like $20 or $25. I'm like, drag. It's like I could have sold. I could have done it again. Another brilliant business idea. I could have made $20 from.
Yep. If yours still had the blue like sticky tack on the back of it because your parents didn't want you to put pins in the walls.
Yeah, they just want you to discolor the walls.
Exactly,
forever.
and then pull the paint off with that stuff. Way better. But before you rejoined us, when I was flying solo a cappella.
Yeah, sorry I was late.
No, it's fine. You're a bad person, but we'll move on. We always do. I was telling people I had my jury duty.
Oh yes,
civic
jury duty. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. So I had to sign on to like a how-to jury duty video Monday morning.
Tutorial?
Yeah, like basically at like 10 a.m. they had me sign on. It was a 25-minute video. And I'm like, imagine the people who had to stay home from work that didn't get paid because the state of New Jersey wanted them to sign on, watch a video for 25 minutes, and that was the entire day.
Well, that was it?
That was the entire day. A video from 10 a.m. to 10:25.
Did you have to do like a skill check at the end? Or
no. It was just sign on.
Comprehension.
It was sign on into a Zoom meeting, so I'm guessing they took probably an attendance from who signed into that Zoom meeting. But that was the whole thing. I get paid for my jury time for work, so I just had a day off with a 25-minute commitment. Hell yeah! But then then it's like, okay, you have to call every evening after 5:30 to see if you have to report based on your juror number. Well, Monday I did not have to report, and I'm like, okay. Or Tuesday, excuse me, calling Monday evening for Tuesday. I did not have to report Tuesday. Call Tuesday night. Had to report Wednesday. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
And that's in person then at that point?
Yeah, I had to go to the courthouse. Courthouse is about 10 miles away, but I have found that in rush hour morning traffic, because I had to be there 8:15 a.m. It took about 45 minutes to get in there, and there was a line out the door at the courthouse. It literally felt like I was at an amusement park. There was like 100 people waiting to get in because of like security checks, because you have to go through metal detectors and everything. And God forbid people are prepared for a metal detector. Every person who walks through instantly becomes the dumbest they've ever been in their lives. And people are like, yeah.
How do I? I've never even walked into a door.
Do I walk through on my hands? Where do I put your stuff from your pockets into this bowl? All of it? Yes. Well, beep, beep, beep. What went off? Well, that's just my keys. That's part of all of it. So it's a long process. So, go into this hot, sweaty room with hundreds of other people that are pissed off. No one wants to be there. The person who's conducting like the jury room process, she's talking on a microphone. She's trying to drop some humor in there and get people, not feeling like a filthy pile of crap for having to be there.
Let's have fun about it, guys. Come on.
Right. Like, we're all here today. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I get called one of the first like 20, 30 names called. So I have to go up to a courtroom, and then it's just this process of here's what this case is about. And then they ask people, like, there's a couple questions they ask, and they're like, all right, we're going to go row by row. And if you feel that one of these questions disqualifies you from being able to serve on this jury duty, come up and talk to the judge about it, and we'll see if we excuse you. And dude, like, out of, we'll say 40 people off the bat that are in the room with me, like 23, I would say, had to go talk to the judge right off the bat. And so it's just this long process where you're just sitting there. They don't want, you can't be on your phones, and you can't talk because the
What are
court
some of the
reporter's
questions that
going.
they like? What are some of the things?
The
Or
simple
the
stuff off the bat was
disqualifications?
like literally US citizen, resident of New Jersey, so and so. Now, it was also knowing someone personally involved as like a party in the situation, or an attorney representing a party. So it was all of those things. One guy, the guy who was sitting next to me, said, I don't know why I'm here. He's like, he goes, I can't serve on a jury. He goes, I've done 6 years in prison. I literally can't serve on juries. And I go, wait, they still sent you a juror card? No, like with that, I go, clearly the state has that information.
He
Like
said that to you?
Yeah. The guy was really nice about it.
Did you ask?
I didn't. I was going to let him offer it to me, but I wanted to be
what
like,
gets
what
you 6 years in prison?
Well, no, even better is like, I like, how do you approach it? Would you go like, what are you in for?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, cool. I just had a podcast talking about how I almost this one time got arrested. So it's really, I didn't feel like it was a level playing field and not my place to ask, but I was all ears if you wanted to tell me.
Well, I'm in the insurance industry, so
yeah. I'm like, I've seen all of the Police Academy movies, so I hear you, brother. Shawshank Redemption, and just kind of give him a pound.
Shawshank.
And so he's like, I'm like, did you respond and like go online and register all the time? He goes, yeah, answered the questions, said that I was in prison. They still had me. Yeah, they still had me go to this thing. I called the helpline. They said I still had to report. And so then he goes,
that's
up to
just
the
somebody
judge.
who literally says, if anybody calls, just say they have to come, no matter what. Just say they have to anyway. That's all they
like. And that's why I'm just like, it's such an inefficient process. Like jury duty, and I'm guessing this is every state. I've done it in New York and now New Jersey as well. Every state has such inefficiencies, and you want to know why? It's because it's a state job, and they'd rather have 4 people doing a shitty job that are able to get their pension, as opposed to replacing them with someone in logistics who could actually right the ship better. I think the state in a lot of aspects loves how inefficient they are, because it creates jobs for those state employees. And it's the same concept of, why don't representatives and senators lower, or put an amount of terms that they can serve? Because they're the ones that would have to make that rule, and that would not benefit them. That's pretty simple. Like, and so it's the same. So inefficiency will always be a thing for the state. It'll just become and less efficient because the world around us is becoming more efficient, and they're just staying stale.
Dude, science and politics. You got it covered here, folks.
Yep. All right.
Look out. We're going to be the new NPR on Twitter.
You betcha.
We got it all covered.
But the case was a wrongful death case. So that was pretty interesting. Meaning it was an estate was suing a rehab center where the deceased was living before they died. And so they were suing the rehabilitation center as well as the doctors there. So that was the case. And I'm like, I want to be a part of this. They're like, it's probably going to be about 12 days. It was actually set. The last day was set to be on my birthday. I'm like, well, what a treat that would be if I can get on this jury, and then on my 40th birthday, I get to celebrate in the courthouse, rendering a verdict for something. Yeah. I'm like, that would be delightful. But they went through, and they call individuals name by name and try filling the juror spots. And I was one of like the last 8 people, and they finally, plaintiff and defense counsel, agreed on the jury as was. And I was not one of the 8 people chosen. And I called back, and I didn't have to report the rest of the week.
Why do you think you were disqualified? Because of your insurance
No, because
background?
they never
Oh.
got to me. Like, so they have to.
Oh, so they already got their A.
They
I
had
see.
to pick
Okay.
name. They basically picked names at random, would interview that person, and then
Dude, you weren't
disqualify
even
them or
Mr.
not.
Irrelevant. You didn't get drafted. Damn.
Didn't
You
even
went
get
through the
drafted.
combine. Had
Yep.
a tight
Yep.
40
Yep.
40 yarder. Yeah.
I was at one of those tables at the draft, just clapping as everyone else was getting
Yeah.
picked, feeling
Yeah.
awkward,
Mhm.
waiting for my cell phone to ring. Yeah, no, man, it was disheartening. I know a lot of people don't like jury duty, but I want to be on a jury so
That would have been
bad.
pretty interesting.
And I feel like there should be a place for those for people like me, where they're like, okay, you've served your civic duty. You don't have to serve again in the next 3 years. And I wanted to raise my
But you
hand
want
and
to
be like,
sign
but
up
if I
again?
want to,
Yeah.
right? Is there a volunteer thing? Like, I get that if I can't continuously be on juries. I get if that was the case. But if I want to get my first jury duty out of the way, I should be up to be able to be proactive and be like, get me involved. I want to make decisions that matter for people's
but
lives.
if they start that precedent, can you imagine the type of town nonsense that's going to bring in every day? Like, let me on the jury. I want to try out again, Your Honor. Like, just
want
the
it.
psychopaths that are in different towns.
Yeah, but
that want to keep
but that's what I'm saying is you get your first one out of the way. You can't just keep applying every week. Like, you can't, once you serve, once you serve, then you're, back of the line. But for your first one, you should be able to volunteer. Put my name in that hat every time, Judge. I'll show up. I'll keep showing up.
Well,
my work's going to be confused. My work's going to be like, why do you have jury duty literally every week? I'd be like, well, tell them to pick me.
You ever work with people that have like 7 grandmas that died? It's like, my grandma died. My grandma died. It's like, what? This is like, known you for 2 years and like 7 grandmas die. You're wildly unlucky. That's really unfortunate. I don't know your family dynamics.
Remarkably unlucky.
You missed a lot of work for grandpa funerals. I feel really bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I used to be like, cheating the system, and then I realized I was defending corporations, and so I'm like, you cheat that system all you want.
Also, if you want to call out from work, you don't have to say why. Just say you're not coming into work. Nobody cares. I love.
No. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know what's your work's policy.
You don't have to like go into detail. Like,
what's your work's policy?
You could say,
is it written out?
Yeah, but you have to say, you could say be out for sick, or we do have like unexcused absence. So if he's calling to say you're sick, we'll mark you down as sick. But if it's for any other reason, it's unexcused. Over time it'll add up. But
so why would you not just say you're sick?
Liberal in terms of like allowing people to miss work. That's why it's a top place to work, I guess, if you hate working, because you don't have to go.
It's a top place to work and an even topper place to not work.
Yeah. But no, dude. It's also. But I guess I'm saying, like, you don't have to call in and tell me you have diarrhea, which people do say. Like, you don't have to like. I can't come in. Like, somebody was in a car accident and their leg got cut off, or some like really crazy thing that's like, there's no way that's true. Just say you can't come in. I have a personal thing.
Do you like, double down and go prove it?
I want to say, like, there is this woman who calls in and says, like, man, I can't come in. I just got diarrhea this morning. I want to be like, okay, take a picture, send it to my email. I need to see it.
Right.
I need to actually take a picture of a pitcher. I want to measure it. I want to see exactly how much you have. I want to see the consistency of your stool.
We want to see the viscosity.
What did you eat? Yeah. How do you have so much diarrhea every week?
Right.
And
so
I refer you to a doctor. Yeah.
My previous employer, who shall remain nameless, but was an insurance company involving a lizard as a mascot. But my previous employer, as when I was a supervisor, would tell us, like, you need to ask, why are you calling out? And if it was sick, it was, did you go to a doctor or do you have a doctor appointment? What symptoms are you having? I'm not kidding.
Like COVID times or like before?
No. This is
regular?
Just standard process.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like, this is how bad it was of just being like trying to make sure people aren't wrongfully calling in sick. And I'm like, I would blatantly tell my team, I'm like, you do not need to tell me anything. Just tell me you're sick. Like, be like, I'm calling out. Like, I don't care. Like, and it, people, we use the term like mental health days and stuff like that. And it's just like, if that's like, I'll come to work with diarrhea before I come to work having a really bad depression or anxiety day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Me
can
too.
function. I'll make it work with the poo-poos. I won't make it work otherwise. Like, I'm not useful to the company. And so it's disgusting if people think that there can't be that type of state that's warranting to call out sick. So the symptom thing, I think, is so antiquated, probably against rules in there. There are probably rules broken, which is totally believable with a lot of corporations, that it's just like, you don't have a right to ask people that. And
Yeah.
just stop. They don't want to be at work today. Get over it. You
I
don't
know.
like them because if you
Either
don't
way,
like it
they're
because
not working today. Yeah.
if you don't like it because they call in too often, then just fire them for that. That's
Yeah.
like, that's cool too. But like, why they're not at work today is irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter why they're not at work today.
Because if they were here, they weren't going to work. They clearly don't want to be here. And
Right.
some people just need the day. So I'm kind of on that too. Like if you do the math at the end of like a few months, and it's like, I actually had this conversation with somebody maybe a month ago, and it was somebody who's just started, and I think she is kind of having trouble with like different things at home or whatever. And so I was like, conversation is functioning like we have things that can help you too. Like we have employee assistance program. You need to talk to
Sure.
somebody or whatever, whatever. We can make accommodations. But then ultimately I was like, but it's really a math problem. Like you've been scheduled this many days and you missed this many. And that's not really, unfortunately, that can't work. It's hard because it puts pressure on other people. Other people have to pick up for you. You have to call other people in that weren't scheduled. And so it puts more pressure on other people. It makes the front end function less efficiently. And so that's just what can happen. And so she was really understanding, but it's like,
Because you presented it
ultimately,
as facts that way, as opposed to criticizing why she isn't here.
Yeah. So like, does this work for you kind of thing?
Right.
Yeah. We want it to. We want to put you in a position to make it help you and all that stuff. But yeah. But I'm the same, dude. I wore a diaper to work. But I will not. Yeah. I will not.
I'll go to like, and that was kind of the funny thing with said employer, is with how they overworked people in the claims department and everything, is that people would go to work sick, physically ill, because they were worried about falling behind. So they would get everyone else at the office sick, who would keep going to work because they worry about falling behind. So the office would just get massively sick. Like there could be a cold that someone's filthy little child brought home from daycare, gave it to their parents, and then their parents came in and just it swept across the claims floor. Like we're talking dozens and dozens and dozens of people would be out over the course of like 3-4 weeks because everyone would get sick.
Yep, that is way more annoying when somebody comes in and they're sneezing, coughing.
Yep.
Like phlegmy coughs.
And there's no one other than the employer that can create a culture that says, just stay the F home.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Cool. So no jury duty for you. I'm sorry. Back to work.
Yeah. See, look, even not talking about poo, I got to say the word duty. So that was cool.
We are consistent.
Yeah.
Speaking of consistent.
That's
coincident.
Real, wow, segues are so good these days. The dice.
The conversation dice. Leap of faith. Scent, as in smell, and coincidence.
Why did I think debate was one of them? Why did I have the word debate written down? I had coincidence.
Did I roll one over?
I had coincidence, debate, and scent.
Shoot. Oh, shoot. That must have rolled over on my desk. Debate. Yeah. So we do not have leap of faith. Okay. Well, let me see if I can come up with something else.
All right. So actually, you know what? It's funny. I'm going to bring up one on scent because actually this is per Kate's suggestion. She was talk about when did you stop using like body spray? And I'm like, okay, I don't use body spray anymore. I'm like, okay, so scent, aromas. Now I don't know when I first jumped into the foray of realizing that I'm a filthy human being with smells. But I mean, as far as aromas go, I've gone through spray deodorants, aerosol deodorants. I'm now on stick deodorants. I think it's better for the earth, and I think that's important. But I
Earth
did
Day.
go
Happy Earth
through.
Day, everybody, by the way.
Oh yeah, happy Earth Day
Everybody,
for
everybody
us. When you're
celebrating the Earth.
when you're listening, it won't be Earth Day, but it is
But
Earth Day
celebrate
for
like it
us.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Don't be a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a jerk and litter 364 days a year. Um, but yeah, I mean, I went through Axe body spray. I feel like there's another one
Yeah.
that I'm forgetting. There was a body spray that
I've
was
used
prominent.
Old Spice.
Their body spray?
Or I don't know if it's technically body spray or deodorant. I mean, I think they market it as both, but I've used it as like I've used it under my
They
arms
are
more than,
very
or like
different.
I do like one of those. Oh yeah, look at that. See, I need some.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a heavy sweater. Right.
See, yeah, you need antiperspirants, not just deodorants.
Okay.
Antiperspirants.
Got it.
But yeah, I don't
But
use
I know
body
what you
spray
mean.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
I use what do you call it? Cologne. I have a spray cologne.
Ooh.
I'm currently on a Nautica cologne. I can't remember exactly which Nautica spray, but they often have a good line. But I've cycled through. Gap Blue was an oldie but goodie in the late '90s, early 2000s. That got discontinued. But yeah, man. So the scent game. I think it's important to commit to one. I don't think you can have a lot. You can make changes, but I think you need to have that repeat scent because, right? Don't you want it to be like memory so that someone
Yeah, you
that
want
scent
people to
makes
know
you
you're coming, or you're in the room, or that your presence.
right, right,
Yeah, coming
yeah.
and going.
It's not. It's not so much the going; it's the coming.
I I I think I've had cologne here and there. Probably the most I ever used it was when a girlfriend in college bought it for me. It's like Hugo Boss or something I would have never bought for myself.
Yes, Hugo
I
Boss.
think it was like $100 something, and I did use it, but I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't buy it. Like I don't have it. I like to get a nice deodorant. Um, I also I get like the more natural soaps now, but I get the ones that are like more like cedar, juniper, like more woodsy based, and I feel like
Okay.
that can carry with me for the day a little bit. Um, I don't know. I don't think people see me and think he should smell good. Like I think whatever I smell like is probably right. Like
He
I think I have
should
a low
smell
bar.
good.
I have a low bar, so it's like if I don't,
So you okay?
I
Interesting.
will. I
Now,
will. So
what about when
I
you
do have
dress
that.
up?
So I do
When you
have.
have to get dressed up, do
I
you
do
feel
like.
compelled to use something stronger
So
because you look more presentable?
that's where I'll use the like this Old Spice Swagger probably.
Okay.
Just a little of the spray. But I only do armpits and maybe across the chest a little bit. But I don't do necessarily like, up to the necks all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
I should give it a go though. Maybe I should start. I should start rocking it at work because I'll tell you why. The thing I'm really afraid of is the first like 20 minutes of having cologne on, and where that is. So because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you got to walk it off a bit, right? Don't you have to like? I mean, how do you make sure you apply without it being overbearing?
Yeah, I
Or
mean, I usually do
does your
like
girlfriend just tell
a
you?
far
Do you do a
away
little test? Yeah.
spritz.
Okay.
I kind of do a
Like a
far away
walkthrough.
spritz. Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
Okay. For my smell, I was thinking of brisket. So maybe I could have. Is there a brisket deodorant? A
You want
barbecue
to smell
deodorant?
like yummy barbecue?
I just want to smell it in my nose all the time.
Oh,
If you had to have,
you want to
that's my
have the
favorite
luxury.
smell. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
right.
I've
So
actually had it.
you need to find a special lady that is willing to wear
Mm,
a based perfume. That's
yeah,
what you
yeah, yeah,
need.
yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll just Yeah, new dating profile. Willing to be lathered in barbecue sauce in the
Mm,
morning,
yeah, we'll work on it. We'll
or
work on it.
I'll maybe a smoke room, something like that. But I just love it. I mean, I've had candle. I mean, I'm a big candle guy. Like again, I like to stick to more of the woodsy, like sage. But I've
Okay.
had some. Like I've got an agave plant candle, but I recently came into some at a Bed Bath and Beyond going out of business sale. Rip them, but
Mm.
they're like bonfire, and they're really really delicious. I just love the smell of campfire barbecue. Um, I did do this. Yeah, if you're on the YouTube channel and you scroll back into like one of the only other 5 videos on it, I did this food show with a friend where it was called Mash It, and we put 2 foods together from Austin. We like drew different things, like random things, and drew them, and then we mashed the foods together to see how they tasted. And one of them we went to was a barbecue spot, and they let us. It was one of my favorite spots in town. They let us go into the smoke pit. And just awesome. I love the smell. I miss it. I miss it a lot. Maybe I'm just being nostalgic for it because there's no barbecue up here. Now all I smell is like grilled hot dogs and hamburgers. That's all there
Hoffman
is.
Hots. There's just
Well,
a
like
blanket of Hoffman
it
Hots.
was funny because at work yesterday it was like hot dog day, Friday. Hot dog days are back, and I'm like, I don't say anything, but it's like our mission statement, our values is like we provide customers with the best foods, healthiest choices for the finest
Our staff,
ingredients,
though, can
and we
fuck
have hot
themselves.
dogs days. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, it's for customers though. They can buy it outside
Oh,
for $3.
oh yeah, Wegmans
They can
does do
buy a
that.
hot dog, chips, and a soda. I'm like, is this really healthy ingredients? I mean, it goes towards like
And
donations and
what's
stuff
what's
like
the
that,
price on that?
like $3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, there's just a lot of. It's funny here, man. Like everybody grills here, but not a lot of good grilling. I gotta say, a lot of tough meats, a lot of hot dogs, hamburgers, and I really miss. I just miss a brisket in my life. A little bit sad. I mean, I could probably. I mean, if I put a little bit of effort into it, I could get a smoker, and do it myself.
Smokers are
But
cool, and the electric ones are pretty handy.
but then it's like, I mean, if you want to do it proper, I mean, you got to do like a 12-hour day out of it. So I do miss it. So I was thinking, and then I also thought, I don't even know what to say about debate because I didn't think about it. But I was thinking leap of faith, and
Okay,
the smell
go with
tied
it.
in with that because I moved to Texas on a leap of faith. So I was living in DC. I don't know if that's exactly. So I was dating a girlfriend at the time named Amanda. I met her in DC. She was an intern where I worked, and she was going to UT Austin. And we started seeing each other in DC. And then for the next year, I think she had one more year of school, and then she was going to do her master's. So we would like every month, she and I would like, I would go down to Austin, or she would come back up to DC. And then I was finally like, well, what if I just moved to Texas? That's how I ended up there. I was like, didn't have a job. I was like, whatever I was, like 23, 24, 25. That was my first venture into. I remember saying it at my last day of work. It's like, I'm going to Austin, you guys. They had a little party going away, and I was like, and I'm going to chase love. That was really what I was said. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like it may work out, it may not, but I'm going. And I was like, I was all in. It was like that early mid-20s, like just gotta go with my feels, man. Just gotta go. Just
I did
gotta
the same
chase
thing
it.
when I moved to
Yeah.
North Carolina, man. I had even less. I didn't even have a girl down there.
Wait, what? Wait,
What?
why did you go to what do you mean?
I moved to North Carolina.
But I mean, you didn't know anybody?
No, no, I didn't say that.
Oh wait, what?
I hold on.
Ooh.
I I had a buddy from college that lived down there, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go visit. So me and 3 friends from Auburn packed up, went to go visit for a few days, and I'm like, oh, it's really nice down here because we went in February. I'm like, yeah, I could live down. Or no, we went in January, and I'm like, oh, I could live down here. And he and his girlfriend lived in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, and so like when we came back, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm like, there's nothing in me for Auburn. I'm working at the hotel, not doing anything. I'm like, I should just try to switch it up. And so, oddly enough, I'm talking to my um, friend that went with me, Steve, and he was like, yeah, I want to move too. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And so John, who also went with us, was like, yeah, I guess me too. So Steve went down, stayed with our buddy, and then I went down, followed a couple weeks later. So there was me and Steve were sharing the second bedroom in our buddy's 2-bedroom apartment and looking for a place for us to stay. So we found a townhouse with 3 bedrooms, and then John came down once we got the townhouse, and we just moved down there with no real aspirations, no ideas, no plans. I got a job working as an assistant manager at a Sbarro,
That's right.
And yeah, I kind of just had to get. Trust me, a big part of it was just like, yeah, you just have this epiphany where like I haven't done anything. Like I left college, dude. You at least were in DC. I left college and like came back to Auburn, was lost, had no idea what I wanted to do with myself. And then my job was bothering me. And I'm like, so why stay around at your crappy paying job living in your hometown when you're just completely miserable as a 26-year-old? And so I'm like, F it, I'm bailing. And just told my parents, I'm like, hey, I'm moving to North Carolina. So bye.
But I feel like you need to do stuff like that. I mean, I tell like a lot of the kids at work and stuff too, like do stuff like where they're like, I want to do this, but I don't know if I can leave, or I don't know what my parents will say. And it's like, parents will be
Doesn't
okay
matter.
if you're okay. You know, it's like you
Yeah.
got to do stuff. You got to leave. You got to see other parts of the world and
Take
meet
a
new
shot.
people, especially when you're whatever 18 to 30 or something like that. Like you got all the chances in the world really to do. I mean, I know money comes into play, so it's not just that easy to do it, but you can find ways to do it. If you really want to go do it, you can find hostels, or you can go somewhere where there's friends. But I mean, you can do it later. I don't know why I'm like cutting it off. Like I could do it right now. I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't do anything anymore. I'm 40.
Right. Yeah. My back
I'm
hurts.
dead.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. But you can still do stuff like that. I mean, I have, I really admire people that travel and go, pursue what they want to do, because it's like it does take courage. I mean, there's a little bit of adventurous spirit. I understand I mean, there's definitely fear of not wanting to do it. Where like, hey, this is working for me. I've got a consistent life. I'm doing what I need to do. I have family around. But I really think to grow as a person, you need to take a chance, or try something, even if you fail. Even the failing can be the most important part of it. Really, is to kind of take something out of it. Um,
Yeah.
and
I
that's what I
mean,
mean.
yeah. Painting something as a pass fail is something that we instinctively do, but it's not really what's happening. You're not failing at stuff. It's you can go with a hope to do something, and then if it doesn't happen, I don't consider that still a failure. I get that's kind of the road you're going down, but we kind of like sometimes always see it as like, oh, it's a failure. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, things didn't pan out, I guess, but maybe I'm just looking into like the etymology of the word and getting like too hung up on
Yeah.
semantics.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be detrimental. I mean, it can be,
Right.
but I mean, when I went to Texas, ultimately, my relationship 2 years in failed. I mean, a lot of it was on me. I mean, it basically was because I think we both can take blame, because I don't think we were very. I mean, ultimately, I wasn't being what she needed, but I don't think she was communicating exactly what she needed. But I was also probably too immature to see what she needed, or to put myself out there to try to ask about it. So
Yeah.
it's like a combination of things. Um,
As
but then
most
I was
things
in
are.
Texas for another whatever 15 years, however long it was, and I actually met probably the most important people in my life
Mm-hmm.
ultimately to that point, or that helped change me or move my formative years into like somehow maturing, learning, um, being there when things were difficult. So I wouldn't change it. Ultimately, I mean, I can't, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't change it. Well, when it becomes an option, let me know, I guess.
I love
And
people say, "Would you
well,
change that?"
well,
Like, I don't. Yeah,
exactly. It's a pointless question. But yeah, man. I mean, you just and for people with anxiety, and tell me if I'm painting you this in a wrong picture. For me, it's like getting the thing done and behind you isn't nearly as scary as it's happening. It's thinking about doing it. It's the scariest part.
oh yeah.
But like stuff that happened in the past, no matter how even negative and detrimental some of the stuff was,
It's so easy to
it's
talk about because
yeah, it's easy to
it's
talk about.
done.
Well, it's easy to talk about because it's done and in the past.
Yeah.
The past is easy to address for me. Where I think a lot of people say the past is tough stuff to talk about, or they feel extensive guilt over it. Whereas anxiety is more of like concern for the future. So I get if you think something can't be done, it's because your brain's painting a picture that it can't be done. But always take the chance on yourself.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I think we mentioned it, but again, it's a therapy thing that you learn. By anxiety, you need two things. You need to like care about what's going to happen, but not know.
yeah.
And so if you don't know, I mean, that's an equal part of it. So, but you still got to care about it, and so the not knowing can make it difficult. But sometimes, yeah, taking. I mean, it is. Yeah, it's now. I'm. We've been talking about it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, the leap of faith really is kind of a great way of saying it, because it is. Sometimes you do it and it's worth it. Sometimes you do it and it's no. If I mean, I can think of things that I've done like, hey, man, that was all right. Yeah,
Well,
that's fine. I'm glad I did that one thing one time. I'll never do it again. But
the toughest part is with for me is like you think there's always a few more steps to prepare for it, and so that's why you can continuously put it off. And that's what's scary, is because you have to go into things and say like, I'm aware of what the situation is, and that's now I need to just pull the trigger, as opposed to trying to be like, I need to be as prepared as possible for
yeah,
this move. You can't be.
yeah,
Sorry. Like, so, buying a house, buying a car, but doing anything like that, it's like, well, I want to make sure I have everything in line. And right now, like, I'm going through that with like buying a new car, and I'm over analyzing everything and over researching. And so it's like, I can just do this until my car explodes and I'm forced to buy one. Or you can just go like, all right, yeah, I did some more research and stuff, and I'm just going to go make a move. So like, if you're worried that you haven't put enough thought into it, I guarantee you've put way more thought into it than you are giving yourself credit. And you're going to have to just face the fact that, yeah, part of taking a risk is not being able to prepare for it entirely and just
yeah,
taking
and
the risk. It is a risk. It's
yeah,
never not going to be a risk.
it works in the creative field too. I mean, especially when I was in Austin doing the pod and seeing, I mean, a bunch of musicians where it's like, does everything have to be perfect before you put it out? Or it's like there's people that'll work on a song for 5 years and never put it out because it's never done. It's never ready. But it's like, well, what
Yeah.
point is it ready? Where you can like do something, put it out, and then work on something else. I mean, we could have done it with this podcast. We could have been like, I mean, we did one test thing just to make sure the tech worked, and it still doesn't.
Which it
But
didn't.
yeah, but we could have like sat on it for 3 months and been like, okay, let's do this for episode. Like, we'll do a deep dive. I don't want to put it out until everything's perfect. And like, all you do is paralyze yourself. That's what I've learned,
Yeah.
especially with creative stuff, writing. Like, just put something out there. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But then again, you learn from it and you can move on. I'll say we didn't really do a rec. We probably don't have time, but I'll do a small one. Because one of my favorite graduation speeches I've ever watched online is Charlie Day.
Oh my
He gives
God.
one. Do you know that?
At
I don't know, it was
Monmouth
yeah,
College, I think.
but it's
Yep.
the one where
It's
he
so
says,
good.
yeah. So if you haven't, why don't you look up Charlie Day? Obviously, sunny in Philadelphia. But he talks about how a lot of speakers go up there and say, instead of like doing something, he's basically like, do things that make you uncomfortable, do things that you might fail at, do things that make you great. So instead of like, because everybody goes up and tells you what to do to make you happy, like just worry about what makes you happy. Just do that. Like focus on that. But ultimately, you'll be happy if you're doing something that's worthwhile and that what makes you great. So don't be afraid. Like I think a lot of people are afraid to take steps into different pools or whatever and trying things because they could fail. But he's essentially, the more you fail, the more you learn. And I think there's a certain amount of that you can take from like just getting comfortable with that, knowing that you can get yourself back, you can get better at things. And I mean, he says it a lot more eloquently, but it's probably
And
the
this
best one
this
I've
is
seen.
old Charlie Day. This is like 09,
Yeah, it was
probably.
a long
Like,
time
it
ago.
was a
Yeah,
while ago.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
recommend it. Look it up. It'll get you pumped up, even if you feel good about where you are in your life. Like I think it's still, sometimes graduation speeches are just kind of like
I like that
one
speech
direction,
much
one
better than
note.
the
But
Navy
yeah,
SEAL telling me to make my bed in the morning.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Admiral McCraven, make your bed. And it's like that's good. I mean, it's good advice, but
Yeah, it works for
yeah, it's
some.
fine. Yeah,
Not for me. My
yeah,
bed's not made.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
Caitlin made the bed.
yeah. Thanks, Caitlin.
Which means my day's going to go better. So yes, thank you.
Do you have a quick rec?
Quick rec. Yeah, I would say I recommend not trying to get out of jury duty. Take that risk, or someone else took a risk and then their risk may have come back to bite them in the ass. Well, be the person who gets to make the decision on that risk and how risky it was.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, my recommendation would be is when that time comes, if you have not been yet called for jury duty, just go into it. Just go into
Mhm.
it and be intrigued, like be interested. It's not your life, but it does, like, it's probably one of the most important situations a certain person has ever been in. So you should want to make sure that that goes the way that it was intended to go in our Constitution with the Sixth Amendment.
Damn, you're really
a jury
it,
by
dude.
your peers. If you don't want that, then if you hate jury duty so much, is it because you just don't want to be bothered with it because that makes you sound selfish? Or do you hate the process? And in that case, what would you like? Someone to be able to charge someone with a crime and just throw them in jail without a trial? So,
dude, give it to him, man.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
My recommendation is man the fuck up and do your jury duty.
Wow, do jury duty. I mean, yeah, you're right. I didn't even. It's weird you just put it framed it that way because I kind of forgot that's what it was about. Man,
Right.
Started with and it started with science, ended with history, dude. Wow, you really got us going.
What's up?
I'd like to finish off with a poem written by ChatGPT about scent. I say, can you write a poem about scent? It's like it's kind of scarily good because it rhymes. Oh God!
Oh, good. I hope it's a limerick.
The scent of home, a comforting and familiar aroma, inviting and warm like a loving persona. The smell of baking bread, a mother's embrace, or a father's cologne, an enduring trace, coincidence. The scent of love, a passionate and intense fire, an alluring aroma that ignites a deep desire. This is a great rhyme. A partner's unique fragrance, a personal elixir, a memory that lingers, a connection that's richer. I mean, how do they know to even try to rhyme elixir and richer? I mean, it's,
right.
You know,
so what is that called? Poet's license. Sure. I think that's the term. Is you can you can force words to rhyme.
Yeah. The power of scent is sensory symphony that evokes emotions, memories, and epiphany. From the sweet to the pungent, the subtle to the bold, the essence of life, a story untold.
Jesus.
I was like, fuck, dude, I would have crushed.
Who knew Skynet was so deep?
I know.
Damn.
That's really good.
They even go for easy rhymes. Those rhymes got complex, and it's like, wow, okay.
Here's one. Here's the finished one. I did one for coincidence too. So embrace the coincidences.
Yeah. What was that?
Oh no.
Oh, Matt's having a stroke.
So embrace the coincidences. That's a long word to put in a poem.
That's a terrible word.
Yeah. So embrace the coincidences, the unexpected turns, for they may be the lessons that our soul yearns. A reminder that life is more than what we see, and that everything happens for a reason, mysteriously.
Wow.
Wow, so deep. So deep. 13 deep.
All of these, isn't it supposed to come?